Guys, welcome back to another video. So this video we're going to dive into the BC Rich stuff that I have in my collection. I currently have in my collection. So to kick things off, I know a lot of you guys that have come to the channel throughout the years and whatnot know that I'm a huge BC Rich fanatic. I love these guitars to death. Now, I didn't really start out that way. When I was younger, I got really spoiled when it came to like the Jackson Professional series, the stuff that was made in Japan back in the 90s. Like, before I even got good at guitar, I was just able to go into like my local guitar center at the time. They had all this great stuff, and I was a Jackson freak. Like, that was all I would play. I wouldn't even look or touch, make eye contact with anything else but Jackson stuff. But to back up on what happened as far as BC Rich winning me over, obviously they look metal as fuck. They're just so freaking cool looking. Fortunately for me, very consistent with everything that I'm going to name off, including attention to detail with the frets, the fit, the finish, just everything that I've experienced with BC Rich has been great. But what got me into BC Rich was actually, I had never played one when I was younger or anything. They were just never available in any stores, at least the stores in my area. I never came across any of them. I happened to be heading to a guitar store that was maybe an hour away from where I currently live. A buddy of mine, him and I went down there in like 2006, 2005. It was somewhere around that era. And for the drive down there for like the next 10-15 minutes, we just got on the subject of the BC Rich Warlock, and I do not like that shape. I never could get on board with just the way it looks and everything. So we were just ripping this body shape apart for like that 10-15 minute drive. And funny, I ended up getting into the store, and you come into the store, you gotta walk past where all the accessories are, the guitar strings, everything like that. Going to the back where the store opens up. If you guys know what I'm talking about, just name it. It's Motor City Guitar in Waterford, Michigan. So that's where I ended up getting this guitar that I'm gonna talk about, and it just won me over for life, basically. I came around the corner, and all the classical guitars, all the high-end expensive models are behind the like the showcase where the guys work on them and stuff like that. So you see all these Fenders, all these Gibson Les Pauls, everything, and right in the middle of all that was this blacked out BC Rich 7-string USA Beast stand, like just right there in the midst of all of them. And my jaw just like freaking hit the floor. I was just like, oh my god. I saw that little R logo on there, and I had a good idea of what it was. So I asked the guy, I see that real quick? And then I kind of looked it over, and the thing it had a lot of heft to it. It was just built like a fucking brick shit house. So I ended up taking it into the amp room, and I ended up plugging it in. Before I knew it, like an hour went by, and my buddy kept coming back into the amp room, and he's like, it looks like you like this guitar. Are you gonna buy this ugly piece of shit or what? And I said, dude, I ain't leaving this store with this guitar. Is coming with me no matter what. So I ended up getting it. I got it for just a huge steal. I got it with the case, and there wasn't a scratch to be found on this guitar. I walked out the door with it for $1,000. Like, that'll never happen again in like the current market, which I'm sure we'll get into in this video. But to fast forward, obviously this is like the most, as far as how many different shapes I have with BC Rich, that is my #1 favorite shape. I never got to play one until a couple of years ago when I got my first one, which is the one that I'm going to first talk about. So this is my neck through BC Rich Beast. This one's made in China. So this is just a cheaper import model. It's got the smaller Son of Beast headstock on it. It's a neck through body. This one came with just the stock BC Rich BDSM pickups. And this guitar was very underwhelming when I first got it. And then I was looking for something because I wanted to keep this one like around the standard tuning area, and that's where I have it right now currently. And it's just the way it sounds, the way I can rip on it and stuff, and the setup that I currently have. I mean, I pretty much got the strings almost touching the damn frets, and I got no buzz. This thing is just, it's a sick guitar to play thrash on. So I ended up going into a Seymour Duncan Black Winter, and this is my favorite ripper right here as far as thrash goes. This thing is just so much hatred comes out of that pickup, coupled with this being a mahogany neck through maple neck, and it just, that guitar just cannot be touched. The thing is just, once I pick it up, I can't put it down. The thing, I'll just play it for hours. I freaking love that guitar. The next one that I ended up getting through this collection, this BC Rich kick that I went on was, I'll actually grab this one first because yeah. Let me move this sucker out of the way. There's a lot of points and a lot of ways that the thing could get bumped into. But, so this one is my BC Rich Junior V Deluxe. It had abalone, but I made it go away with electrical tape. I got sick of looking at that shit, so I hide it with electrical tape. I gotta put a new piece on there, but this is almost like when you look at it like this. I remember it was me and my buddy were having a conversation through a video chat, and I don't know, I looked at the guitar, I looked down on it, I'm like, I got some electrical tape in the drawer. Let me put a piece on there and see what it looks like. And then I'm like, man, it don't look too shabby. Then before I knew it, I did the whole guitar with electrical tape binding, and it just looks so much better, or it's just a blacked out version of it. And I think this just looks killer. This is a killer guitar. This is actually my third Junior V Deluxe, because I've had a couple in the past that I bought them and then I sold them, but there was really nothing wrong with them at all. They all sounded and played great, but this one has an interesting headstock on it. This one is it's more closer to the full-size Beast headstock. It's a little more streamlined, a little slimmed down, smaller version of that, but it has that same profile and shape. So when I saw that was available, I ended up getting that one, and then I sold the second one that had the Son of Beast headstock, because most of them have the Son of Beast headstock on it, and I just like that much better. So I didn't really need to have two of them anymore, so I got rid of that one, and I got this one now. At the time when BC Rich was selling these and producing these, just a lot of bang for your buck when it comes to what you get out of this guitar. So this one's got the EMG 8185 set and neck through, just like the previous one was. Oh, this has got the Grover tuners on it, that's right. Yeah, this thing is just, it's a little bit like, if any of you guys are familiar with the BC Rich neck profiles, this one pretty much follows that same trend. It's just a little bit beefier. But I actually like that, too thin of a neck, with doing your death metal, your rhythm chords and stuff like that. My hand tends to tighten up a little bit, where the fingers will start to kind of fall asleep. So I actually like having a little more girth in my headstock. So there's that one. Let me move it real quick. And the next one that came into my life was this guy right here. This isn't a direct BC Rich, but it's of the same family, of course. So this is a Neil Moser Bastard V. This is the import model, made in Korea. And I just got this is a licensed Floyd on here. I just got it blocked because, any of you guys that come to me, I'm like a rhythmist, I'm not a soloist. I mean, if I need to write a solo, or if I want to, sometimes, I'll give it some thought, I'll come up with something halfway decent. But as far as, being a real big soloist, tech death kind of guy with not using my fucking pick anymore, I'm not that kind of player. It just doesn't interest me. So I'm just more of like the old school death metal kind of player, and thrash for that matter. So I got that one blocked, and then I found this company. I got to remember where I got these, but these are handmade knobs, and I had these put on there. I thought it would just make it look even more evil than it already does. Same thing with, I got some of these skull and crossbone inlays to put on there, just to put the icing on the evil cake, like Alex Webster said in Centuries of Torment DVD. And then this has got the Grover tuners on it as well. And this is a 24 and 5/8 scale. The other one's 25 and a half, I'm sorry. So this one is a 24 and 5/8. I just got this one. Currently I got it tuned to E flat standard right now. But this thing is bad as hell too, man. This is a great freaking guitar, a great addition to the BC Rich stuff. And the next one that came into my life was this guy right here. So this is a BC Rich Zombie bass. This one's neck through, so this is the neck through version of it. As far as how old this thing is, I think this is from 2008 or something like that. I can't quite remember. Yeah, it was 2008. The guy who ended up selling me this took very, very, very good care of it. And then he took out the active BC Rich pickups that were in it, the stock pickups, and this has got the EMG X series, the P style pickups. And this thing, I swear, like when I started playing bass, and I got to play a handful of bass guitars, some of the ones that I currently own, and then other ones that I've played in stores. These BC Riches, they got this like piano, just like this metallic, nasty attack kind of sound to them that I haven't experienced in like my other basses that I've played, or the ones that I have. And yeah, these things just, they sound amazing. They're freaking great basses. I mean, all of my guitars so far up to this point, every BC Rich, the fretwork, I got no issues with fret sprout, nothing popping up. Like I said, the finish, the sound that comes out of these things. My other stuff that I got in my arsenal just really doesn't compare. I mean, for what you get, you know, for the money you pay for these, back then when you could actually afford a lot of this shit. But just, yeah, what you get for what the money was for these guitars, just get a lot of bang for your buck. So let's get into the next one right behind me. All right, we're on this guy right here. This was the second beast that I ended up getting. So this one's a bolt-on. This was formerly a speed loader, and then this one's been converted, so it's got tuning pegs now on it. And this one's kind of cursed. When I first got it, when it arrived, I bought it from a seller in France, and the body was destroyed. Like, these tips got busted up really, really bad. So I ended up meeting a local guy who works on guitars and sets them up and everything. He's been doing it for, I think, like 40 years or something like that. And yeah, he did a great job making this go back to as good as he possibly could. I mean, you can barely see it now. So yeah, did a real good job with that. And then ended up putting a Duncan Nazgul in there, so that thing sounds extra pissed off. That's a really good passive pickup as well. Funny thing with this one too is I had about 6 guitars on my wall to my left, or, you know, your guys' left. When I came home from work one day, out of all the guitars that were hanging up on the wall, and I had them extra secured and fastened, or at least I thought. I mean, for the most part they are, but I walked in the door from work and this guy was laying on the floor, and I was just like, oh shit. So I ended up walking up to it, and the pot roast ended up busting off, and the electronics are a little jacked up, and I haven't had a chance to take it to that guy to have him look at it or anything, because when it comes to electrical and certain things on my instruments, I don't want any part of it. I don't want to touch anything, especially when I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So I pass on the little minor headache of mine to somebody else who it doesn't give them a headache. They actually enjoy doing it. But no, this thing sounds really great too. I mean, this one's got an ebony fingerboard on it. It's got a, you know, again, a maple neck. This is a mahogany body, and we ended up just putting regular, you know, took the other hardware that was on here, the saddles, and just put, you know, traditional Floyd Rose ones. I think we used a brand called All Parts and put those on there, and yeah, now this thing, I can just string it up like any other normal guitar, you know, so it's good, man. This thing rips when the electronics are working, that is. And then the next one, what was the next one I got? Oh yeah, I gotta go over there. I'm saving one of them in particular for last, so we'll get to that one last. That one, it'll be worth it, trust me. So this one is BC Rich Beast Bass. This one's the neck through. This was the one that I was looking for a while at a, you know, good price, and that I definitely got. So this one is, like I said, it's also neck through. This one's just got the, I gotta watch the points as I'm doing this shit. It's fucking dangerous. So this one just has the stock BC Rich P-style active pickups, and this thing growls. I mean, I've done power trip covers, I've done, you know, some of the Slayer stuff that I've done on this, and just all various kinds of things. This thing just sounds just menacing. I love the way these things sound. Yeah, there's this one as well. Finally got one in my collection. Always been wanting one of these. And this guy right here, this was the one that this was like for me the holy grail. Obviously, aside from if I could ever get my hands on a USA BC Rich Beast, but you know, that'll be down the road whenever. So I got the full-size Beast headstock on there with this one. This one's also neck through. A mahogany body, so it's a little bit heavier guitar. And it's just a big body, you know. So there's a lot of material on this sucker. But yeah, this one's got the ebony fingerboard too. I got this one in C sharp. Yeah, I didn't really cover tunings too much. I just kind of wanted to talk about the guitars and some of the features and stuff on these as I was doing this video. But yeah, this one's got original Floyd on it too. This one has, looks like these are just whatever stock BC Rich tuners that came with the guitar. But I think this might be a Chinese Beast actually. I don't think this one's a Korean one, but it's another just badass import guitar. It's got a EMG 81, and it's got a 60 in the neck. I actually like when I do soloing, I do like the 60 better than the 85. Just not as boomy and bassy. So yeah, this one is another ripper from hell. This guy here, not many of these are out there. This one this was for the Japan market. This is the JE 1200 or 1200 JE, either way. This is a Korean model, and to tell you guys the truth, as far as the craftsmanship and the quality that's on this thing, very, very comparable to what you'd find on a USA model. Like the fretboard, you just look at the finish and, you know, the hardware, how they rounded off the frets, the dressing on it, just all these other different variables when you look at the guitar, the routing, things of that nature. I mean, so much quality craftsmanship went into this guitar, like right there on that level with USA stuff. So this has got that brushed chrome hardware on it. So this has got the Grover tuners. This one's got the Goto Floyd on it. Thing's bitchin', it's badass. Stays in tune great. I got this one in A sharp standard, so this is like the Cannibal Corpse tuning. Yeah, they got a couple tunings, but yeah, the main Cannibal Corpse tuning, I got this one in. And this one's got a dual set of EMG 81s in it. You know, I'm not really much of an EMG guy like I used to be, where it was just that was all I played. Now, so much great stuff has come out along the way to where a lot of the passives just completely obliterate, you know, the EMGs or even some of the other active pickups that are out there. But yeah, that's a whole different discussion though. But yep, so that is the JE 1200. I'll show you guys reference real quick before I grab that last one. So here's the Son of Beast headstock on that first Beast I showed you. Here is the full-size headstock. Without bumping heads, without bumping uglies on this sucker. Yeah, you can see the difference there. I'm gonna keep that one down because I'm gonna be playing you in a second, brother. And then, so this one here, while we're still on that topic, let me move the tape. It just looks so much better than that fucking abalone shit. Now, I didn't mind it for a little bit, and now I just can't fucking stand it. Probably because current BC Rich ruined that shit. So yeah, you can see that see how it's a little more of a slimmed down version of that compared to the full size. So it's the same profile, it's just a little bit smaller version, but that's all. Now we'll get on to the final guitar. The fuck? So here we are, guys. We're on the granddaddy of all of them that I just showed you. So this isn't exactly BC Rich per se, but the guy who ended up building me this guitar, this is a gift, by the way. This is, God, I can't thank you enough. Stuart Wolf at Saw Guitars for building me this. Stu actually currently is working alongside Casey Crabtree with BC Rich Custom Shop, so I figured that was more than worth an honorable mention to bring this guitar, you know, into this video for you guys. This thing is so badass. So this is a Saw Insurgent 7-string that Stu ended up building for me. And you can tell by the serial number there, if you can see that. KF, Kevin Frasard, 2020. And this is the first model of its kind. So this is to me, this is very special. Not only, you know, it's the first one he did, but you know, a gift to me, basically saying thank you for the content all the years, getting me into the music that I got into and wanting to start building guitars, things like that. That shit is just, you just never know who's out there that's watching and appreciating your stuff. So it's just, yeah, I can't say enough good things about that. It just, it really makes me happy, you know, things like this. So yeah, Stuart ended up building me this guitar. It's got hip shot locking tuners on it. And this one is obviously neck through. Yeah, I've always been a big neck through kind of guy. I mean, I got a couple bolt-ons in my collection, but for the most part, just I like the feel of the neck through. So this cutaway, man, just the kind of access you'll get when you're soloing over here. Just this thing's just it's sick. It's just amazing. The neck profile, one of the best, most comfortable 7-string neck profiles I've ever felt. I mean, it's right up there with the Wizard neck, probably even maybe a little bit flatter across the fretboard, wider, flatter kind of thing. But man, it's just, this thing's an absolute fucking menace. So this one originally, he put, we still got I still left this pickup in here. This is the EMG X series. This is the 60. basically everything that I ever spelled out in some of my videos along the way throughout the years. He wanted to just, yeah, make me happy, build me exactly what I was looking for in a 7-string guitar, and he came very, very close. I mean, incredibly close. This is almost like I would say this is like an Extreme Warrior kind of vibe to it. Maybe crossbred with a little bit of an Ironbird in there. I've never been much of an Ironbird fan, but I actually played one not too long ago when I was at the Unmerciful show with Decrepit Birth and stuff, and Justin, who was guitar player for Unmerciful, he brought me backstage, he let me play it, and I actually, now I kind of want an Ironbird when the prices actually go down. I would like to have one of those a part of the BC Rich collection as well. But so yeah, I was back to what I was saying. This is the 60, the MGX Series 60 7-string version. And we had an EMG 707 in here, but in this guitar, it just, I mean, it sounded okay, but just okay wasn't good enough for me. So I was looking for something else, and I wanted to get something a little bit different that not many people have or had. So I ended up finding this right here. This is the, at the time, this is the Dino Cazares signature model, Dino from Fear Factory. This was the Seymour Duncan Retribution. So there was some new old stock out there, and I ended up getting my hands on a bridge version of it. And wow, I mean, this is like a one-stop shop active pickup. I mean, it still has the characteristics that you would get in a passive pickup, but in a, you know, active form. And dude, the chunks you get out of this, the clarity in your notes, when you're even doing your speed picking, your pinch harmonics, just your shifts in between notes, everything is incredibly clear, and it just sounds beefy. It sounds absolutely pissed off. It's a great pickup for this guitar. And then this has got an original Floyd Rose on it as well. We got a brass block in there. I put some foam under there, and I kind of, as you can see, I tried putting some painter's blue tape on the springs, because these are supposedly noiseless springs, but I was still getting noise out of this, so I ended up adding these couple things to it, and it dampened the noise down significantly, quite a bit more than what was originally, what was sounding out of it. But yeah, so I figured I'd just try that out and see if it worked, and it ended up paying off. And this just has nickel frets on it, doesn't have stainless steel or anything, but ebony fingerboard, and then that was one of the little graphics he wanted to put on the 12th fret right there. And then this has got the glow-in-the-dark, the illuminate. I can never pronounce that word right, but you guys know what the fuck I'm trying to say. I give up. I'll never get it. So yeah, this thing is just, it's a bad motherfucker, man. It really is. Just the volume and 3-way toggle, no tone knob. But I think I covered everything. That's a Jackson over there. We'll talk about that sometime. Excuse the new camera angle, guys, because I almost forgot this main guitar that's been in more of my videos than any of the other ones. How I almost overlooked it is beyond me. I guess I'm stupid sometimes, and this was no exception. So this is the BC Rich Kerry King V. This is the neck through version, not that bolt-on like lower end model. This is the better one. I got this one back in I think it was 2016. That was when I saw Slayer for the first time, and I never really liked this guitar. Like, I didn't really care too much for that graphic until I just happened to be like, I was like front row at this show, so I got to see Kerry play this, you know, multiple times through the night, and it just kind of grew on me as I was watching him play. I'm like, you know what, I kind of want to get one of those now. So yeah, I ended up a few days later, I came across somebody who was on Reverb at the time. I got this shipped for $450, man, and you can't find them that cheap anymore. But yeah, this is the like I said, this is the neck through version, and this thing is since it's got the Kaler on it, it's got a little bit more wood on it, so it weighs, I think actually too, when I was coming across some of the information on this, I think this guitar was made of maple. I'm not 100% on it. It's either maple or mahogany. I would almost say that maybe this was the maple version, because this fucker is a lot heavier than some of my other guitars, even the mahogany ones. But yeah, this one got Grover tuners on it. It's got the 8185 with that little preamp booster on there. I always keep it off. I don't really use it, and I don't do much dive bomb kind of shit. So yeah, I don't really operate the Kaler too much. Actually, this one came without the bar on it, and I just never got it because I'm a rhythm player anyway, for the most part. And I love the sustain you get out of this guitar, man. Just, it's like you can I've said this in many videos, you can hit a chord and go walk away and come back and the thing will still be ringing out on you. This thing just sounds so full, massive, and just aggressive, nasty. And it's got that, this is the Widow headstock. The other ones had the Beast headstock on it, but this one's got the Widow on it. Everyone calls that the ball sack. I think you're gay if you think that's a ball sack. That should be a set of boobs that you're looking at right there. So I got this one in drop B. Yeah, I play a lot of my death metal and some of my grind with this guitar right here. Had a lot of good times with this one. I'm a big D'Addario player. Yeah, no promotion, anything like that. I'm not affiliated or endorsed by D'Addario, but I swear by those strings. I absolutely love them. The NYXLs I'm not a fan of, but just the normal nickel wound XLs, love those strings to death. It'd be cool if I could get an endorsement by D'Addario. That would be fucking badass. But I just like talking about them because they're good strings and they're bright, they last forever. I've never broken one. And they just, yeah, it's like you can just play your ass off on them. They never sound dead or like, you know, they don't really, it takes a long time before they lose their tone. That's what I like about those strings. But yeah, had to throw that in there. I pretty much covered everything for you guys. So the gentleman, I forgot who you were, who ended up suggesting this kind of video, thank you very much. Very, very good suggestion. Much appreciated. And before I close, shout out to the band Stabbing from Texas. Brutal, slamming, death metal, fucking amazing. Check them out if you have not. Sickest female vocals you've ever heard. Just absolutely fucking disgusting.